Okay. Good night, everybody, and welcome to Avini Vibes. Well, today is February 13th. It's actually my brother's birthday, and I always remember because one day before Valentine's, and I hope that you all have a very special Valentine's tomorrow. I'm going to talk about something that you can give, the gift of love, and that's what this company is all about. I want to first say thank you to Carol Witt for always helping co-host this and be there for me and us to help, do the producing piece of this. So, Carol, thank you. And big hearts to you. Everybody's going to send those out to you. Uh, special prayers and thoughts for Cheryl Graham. You know her. She's been on here many, many times. However, Cheryl's sister's in the ICU, so not so good right now. Keep her in your thoughts and your prayers, please. Thank you, Chip, Little John, always be here, and Dr. Nikita, always as usual to be here too to jump in on product knowledge and science and all of those good things. So, for those of you who don't know me, I see some new faces. My name is Christine Rolando and I live here in New York. And I was fortunate last week. We had Doug Dickey. I think I went on 17 presentations with Doug Dickey, and it was a whirlwind, amazing. And you know what it is truly about? Avini Health is about saving lives and changing lives. And that's what we're here tonight to do. What I like to do is start out. The topic for tonight is pets. And we want to share with you. Raise a hand if you have a pet in the house, a cat, a dog, a horse, a goat, a chicken, a pig, anything like that. Yep. So it's pretty amazing what goes on in our community of how many people have pets. You know, I've been involved with animals and horses for a long time. I'm a professional horse appraiser, 45 years. Hard to believe, but 45 years of doing that and very much involved in the horse and animal community. I do a lot of animal rescues too, so I've been very heavily involved with that. So animals are near and dear to my heart. And I'll just tell you a little secret you might not know about me. I wanted to be a veterinarian and didn't become a veterinarian, but I worked for quite a few of them and have had animals die in my arms, animals die in my car as I tried to rush them to the vet. I'll never forget this little black foal that passed away right there as it was born and tried to do CPR, and we got it in the car. So, my mother always say she would bring any wild animal home, and I would for sure. So that's my thing. A little bit about how much I adore animals and people too. So, with that said, Carol's going to bring up our product sheet. We're going to talk a little bit about Avini products. Carol, would you mind doing that?
I will do that. One
Cell
second here.
Defender. We're going to talk about the Cell Defender, and as soon while she's bringing that up, we're going to have a guest speaker too. We got Shu and Michelle. I hope they're with us. We're going to have them just come on right after this product sheet. We're going to look at Cell Defender and Plus Relief for pets. Can everybody see that? Give me a thumbs up. And for sure, this is what we want to do. We want to keep our furry friends happy. You know, we talk about if you walked around all day on your feet with no shoes on and then you came in and licked your feet, what would happen to you? Not a good thing, right? So that's what our animals do. You see your animals, licking their feet and they are exposed just as much as we are, if not more so. They don't have the protection that we have and they're very low to walking on our carpets, walking on all of the things that are treated as we are. However, they don't have the coverage that we have. And let's face it, they're exposed just as much as we are, or if not more. But
Mm.
these are some amazing products that firsthand I've had the opportunity to put on my animals and see remarkable things happen in their lives. I'll give you an example. One of my little dogs who's in the back of our, on our Vini Vibes background there, that's Fee and Booby, Fee and, no, Phoebe and Boo. They both have had these lumps and bumps on them. And since I've been using the Cell Defender on them and the Plus Relief, they're just happy like little puppies, and those little bumps and lumps are gone. So I'm happy about that. And why is that? Because as you can see, the benefits help remove those heavy metals and those toxins from our pets. They support a healthy immune system. I think last week alone, there must have been something going on in our community with our animals because I had 4 calls of people that their animals were in distress. And I don't know about you, but when the vet closes and you have to go to the emergency, we have one very close to us, but you need a second mortgage to take your animal there. And I'm telling you, second mortgage, it's like a hotel. But you know what we'll do for our animals is we will take them there. So a few of them had called, and we started them on the Cell Defender and the Plus Relief, and not by any surprise from me, but from the owner. Wow, those animals didn't have to go to that hospital, and they really did well with that. pH, right? Helps balance your pH levels in the body. So critical. We need to do that with our animals as well as with our own bodies. Doug told me a story that Rick was sharing about the one of the products for pets, and he squirted it right in his mouth, right from the tube of the animal's pet products. So I thought that was pretty interesting that our products are 100% natural, safe, and non-toxic, and homeopathic. And also, as you see, that it works on multiple types of chronic pain and inflammation. You know, animals are just like us. They get inflammation, but what I love about them is that they don't know that placebo effect, do they? So you can, I mean, I've used with ducks. I've had, ducks with broken legs. I've put this on, and you see no placebo with your animals. That's what I love about this. And what's most exciting also is that it's non-narcotic, non-addictive, and for the pain relief. So just a little bit about that. I'm sure many of you that have been with Avini for a while have used this on your animals, your pets, and have seen remarkable results. And that's what we want to do. Carol, if you can go ahead and take that slide down. Shu, are you on? Shu, we want to open up the mic for you and your guest, Michelle, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear some stories from the field. So welcome, Shu. How are you?
I'm doing good, girl. Thanks for letting us share tonight. I
Yes, please.
contacted I contacted Michelle. She was able to hopefully get on, and she can share a little bit more detail about her pregnant mares and stuff. So if Michelle is there, unmute Michelle, and please come on.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you for asking me to join in tonight. I do have horses, and I have used the Avini products, specifically the Cell Defender, on the horses and also my dog. And I think the biggest story that we have to tell this evening is about the mares. She wanted me to share with you how we administered the Cell Defender for them. And he has video actually of one of my mares trotting into her stall to get her Cell Defender apple. And so basically what my experience was, I had 5 mares that I was trying to breed, and none of them would get in foal. We spent almost $20,000 and had no pregnancies. And the Cell Defender was recommended, and what we did was we cut an apple into pieces, and we had Mary, what was that thing that you guys set up in the arena? The alarm.
Oh, the Alexia.
Yes, Alexia. They had an Alexa in the barn, and it went off every hour. And every hour, they put 5 drops of Cell Defender on a slice of apple and walked around the barn, and every mare that we were breeding got a Cell Defender apple slice. And they did that all day long for about 3 months, 5 to 6 days a week for about 3 months. And we started at the end of November, and I had 5 mares on the program. Ultimately, we decided not to breed 2 of them for a variety of reasons. One was too old. The other one, I kind of looked at her conformation and went, yeah, she's lovely and you love her, but she does not need to have a baby. And so we focused on the 3 best mares with the Cell Defender and an herbal fertility enhancer and a selenium supplement, because our ground is very selenium deficient. And in the spring, The mares went in for breeding one at a time, and all 3 of them are pregnant, still pregnant, and we're expecting babies April, May, and June this year. So just an incredible improvement in the function, whatever function, that the cell defender had for them, made a tremendous difference in their ability to conceive and to carry their foals.
Michelle, where are you located?
We live in Cheney, Washington.
And what breed what breed are your horses?
We bred a quarter horse, a Belgian warm blood, and a Hanoverian.
Oh, nice.
They were all bred to Hanoverian stallions this year. But the real kicker is that we were breeding for several seasons with all kinds of stallions, the same mares, live cover, frozen semen, live transported cooled semen, and none of the breeding methods resulted in pregnancies. So we figured out, there's something wrong with my mares. And the cell defender was really the only change that we made.
That's remarkable and very exciting for people that own horses and go through that. I've gone through that with my mare. I have a Salle Francais French horse jumper, and same thing. Very, very tough time getting her in foals. She went to the University of Pennsylvania. About $20,000 later, had a uterine infection. I did this before I knew about Avini. So I wish I knew then what I know now. So, you're onto something here, and we got to share it with more people that experience that with their animals.
Apples, every hour. Cell defender apples every hour.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Were you clicker training them along the same time as you're ringing the bell? Did they hear the bell? Do you think there was any printing on that, or?
No clicker training. I don't do clicker training.
Okay, just curious.
Opened their stall doors and they came running.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah. So I had to actually enroll my staff in the process, because I left for Florida and said, okay, here you guys, this is what you're going to do. Cell defender apples every hour. And the alarm system would go off and the mares would get their treats. So anyway, the dog story is actually even more impressive, but saved my little dog and my mom's dog when the vets told us to put her down, that there was no hope for her. And so anyway, I don't hesitate to use the Avini product with my animals, and I find, because like you were just talking about, there is no placebo awareness, right? They just respond because they respond.
That's exciting that you're, I can't wait to see the pictures of your babies when they hit the ground. That's going to be exciting, Michelle.
I can't wait to see the pictures of my babies either. Well, make sure that shoe comes and takes pics. All right.
Question for the group. Was that cell defender liquid the same the humans get that you were giving these horses?
It was, yes, because at that point, the pet, specifically pet products weren't available. This was last year. Of course, our mares are pregnant for 11 months. And so, yeah, this was actually a long process, 2 years almost in the making, a year and a half in the making for us because of that. So, yeah. Requires patience and perseverance. And I would ask the girls from the beach. Of course, I'm on the beach in Florida, and they're giving cell defender apples to the mares.
Did you inject the cell defender into the apple?
We did it that way, but ultimately I think the biggest way they did it, they just scratched a line in the apple slice and put the 5 drops in the hollow that was in the apple slice. And Mary is right here beside me. She was responsible for participating in the Avini cell defender experiment. But I was desperate,
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of dollars. And we have 3 beautiful foals on the way, and I'm really grateful.
Well, you talked about the frozen semen. You get the frozen semen and you might get so many straws and you have that. And then sometimes you have to wait for that perfect time to do that. And then like my mare, she just didn't go into fall, and that is thousands of dollars. And I only wish what, like I said, what I know now, knew then. But Mary, what about in the water? Did you ever put it in the water as well, or think about that?
No, and the reason I didn't is because water goes in their stalls in automatic waters. There's no way to monitor or manage what was
Right.
going into their waters. And the other they get a 350-gallon tank. What am I going to do with cell defender in a 350-gallon tank when it gets gross? It gets dumped on the ground. Well, I don't want to dump my cell defender on the ground.
No, too
So
valuable for that.
The apple method was just really easy, and the injecting worked, but ultimately the drops on the slice really worked just fine, didn't it, Mary?
Yeah.
And they came running to their doors when their doors would open every hour.
It didn't take them long to figure it out.
No.
either.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, and very ingenious of the way you administer to it. And we're glad that your mares are in fall, and we'll look forward, like I said, to seeing the pictures of them when they hit the ground, for sure.
Thank you. And
Congratulations.
I appreciate the products being available to us, right? Because without them, I doubt we would have the foals. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, there'll be Avini babies.
Yes. Yes.
They will.
Avini Falls. Yeah. Shu, did you want to add anything?
Oh, she could have went on for hours. She has so many personal testimonies. It would take an hour for her to tell them all. And I know Chip knows most of them because the two of them met when she left Washington for Florida winter. Yeah. Another time.
All right, Mary, definitely come and join us again for sure. We'd like to hear more stories, okay? Always these stories that change people's lives are important to share. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Christine, there's been a request for the dog story to be shared. Could that be
Sure.
done?
We have time actually. So if you want to share a little bit about that miraculous story of your dog, please do.
Okay. She's a little 6-pound Pomeranian. And my dad and I came down to Florida, and we stopped at my son's house, and he has an Australian cattle dog. And she's not a bad dog. She just got excited on Christmas morning. She had a new toy. Cameron took her out. She was playing with the toy. They came in. She was still all riled up. And little Emery was lying on the carpet, and the bigger dog just pounced on her and grabbed her by the head and shook her and evulsed her eye. This is 9 o'clock on Christmas morning, right? Evulsed her eye, and she was having seizures with her front legs. She was just crazy with her front legs. And we found the Northwest Arkansas Emergency Animal Medical Center was open at 9 o'clock on Christmas morning. And we took her there, and they stabilized her, but because of the shaking, right, they felt she was paralyzed. And so they didn't do the eye surgery to enucleate the eye. They stabilized her condition with painkillers. I asked them about MSM. They say, oh, we don't use MSM in small animals. That's for only horses. Well, anyway, I had the Pain Plus with me. And my husband and I, they called us up and they said, I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do for this dog. And we were like, well, why don't we come in? Because he's a chiropractor. And we went in on Tuesday night, and they told us, the neurologist, they had done an MRI, and they told us that she was subluxated and that she would never walk again. And she was peeing on herself in the kennel, and that we should just bring in some food and see if she would eat and then go ahead and euthanize her. And this is not how I operate. So we went in and they brought her out, and she was a disaster. And my husband, they left her with us because they thought we were going to be saying goodbye. And I put MSM on her food, and MSM that I use on animals and myself. And of course, MSM is a specific for neurologic inflammation. And Tom gave her 2 adjustments. Like I said, he's a chiropractor. He works on animals all the time. He gave her 2 adjustments. We used the Pain Plus on at the Atlas and Axis several times. And as a 4th level Reiki master teacher, I gave her a Reiki treatment as well. And she ate her food. And when they came to pick her up, we said, well, why don't you wait and we'll just see how she's doing in the morning. We can't make this choice for her yet. And Wednesday morning, they called us up and they said, well, we don't know why, but she is standing up and wants to eat. And so then they enucleated the eye and we went and picked her up, and I continued to use, because she was not quite normal, right? I continued to use the Pain Plus spray on the back of her head and neck. For about 2 weeks, she got MSM, she got regularly adjusted, and she got the Pain Plus and the Cell Defender on her food. And she is a healthy, active, beautiful little 6-pound Pomeranian. Aww. So the products actually saved her life. They would have euthanized her. So without the Cell Defender and the MSM and the Pain Plus, she would not be bouncing around in my head. So wow. I appreciate her, right? And you've seen how cute she is, haven't you, Shu?
Oh yeah, she's a little fluff ball.
Well, also without an owner like you and your husband that, stepped up on her behalf, right? You stood up for her. So thank you for doing that as well. Goodness. Glad she's...
One of the vets actually said to me, they have a MSM protocol for neurologic problems in dogs in Germany. I said, well, why don't you look it up?
Good for you. Always sharing and always learning.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
And then, the
great story.
Tom told the neurologist that he had given her a chiropractic adjustment, and he just stood there and he, looked at my husband like he was a complete idiot. And then, so I wish we could open minds a little bit more and a little bit more clearly, but we were grateful that they were there to stabilize her condition. Ultimately we have to be able to use a combination of treatment protocols. And so these products give us the opportunity to use an adjunctive care for our critters. So also, oh, by the way, she still gets the Cell Defender and her hair is in beautiful condition. She always had dry skin and dry hair, and now her hair is just beautiful. No mats, she's easy to brush, but she's got an entirely different texture to her hair coat. So yeah, Mary just said she noticed the same thing. So I know she's a healthier little critter. So anyway, thank you guys so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for being with us. Really appreciate it, Michelle. Mary, thank you for being with us also. Dr. Nikita, do you want to jump in, add anything? I know you and I talked a little bit about the animals, but feel free.
I was just listening to the story about the dog, and I was just thinking about all of the things that could have happened that would have been detrimental to that little dog. Everyone knows that dogs' system is basically digestion, is in and mouth, out the end. And the little dog being so small, if they had given her their type of pain medicine, it would have locked her up, which would have resulted in her having a even worse, on top of everything else. It would have. So everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. Like having the plus release was like the icing on the cake, because it allowed her system to still function and process all of the food that she was getting. So I'm just like, everything happened for a reason. I mean, you guys are completely blessed, but very fortunate to have the ability to have the product in your lives. So I am honored that you was able to share that with us. I have some questions because I got these 2 dogs in my house, and my sister is staying with me for a little while because she's selling her home, and she has this beautiful lab mix, and he is allergic to chicken. And everyone keeps putting chicken in food, even though they buy in the food and it's beef. All of a sudden they'll change the product and put chicken in it. And so he starts scratching and licking his paws and doing all that. I'm like, what is it? Can we get rid of it? So I am interested in just understanding how the product would work in a dog with allergies. You know, like if he's allergic to chicken and he's not eating chicken now, but it seems like he's allergic to a lot of things. So how does eating the cell defender help the dog? You know, like is it the same process as us? Is it something where it takes a little bit longer? I don't know. So I was just saying if anybody had any advice or understanding around allergies and taking cell defender with animals.
Chip, I see you
So,
unmuted.
yeah, I gotcha. Hi, Dr. Nikita. So,
Hi.
our thought is, and this is what we see in humans, is that when they use Avini products, especially Cell Defender, sensitivities to every little thing seem to diminish. Autoimmune seems to diminish. We think the root cause is the single cell lining of the gut and partially digested food escaping and having an immune war set up against it, is what we think happens. So when they improve, our thought is, and they do, I mean, I guess we're just kind of brainstorming, why would that be? We think that using the cell defender, because it cleans the person, makes them further from the edge of disaster when it comes to being sensitive to everything, because we removed a lot of things that they were sensitive to. And so that gives some space for something that might have been an irritant to come and not be a problem. We also expect for digestion itself to improve, the enzymes made in the liver and the hormones made in the pancreas, all those things to improve the performance of the organism, whether it's us or our animals.
Okay, so it would take about 30 days. How long would it take for them to continue, like to see results?
Well, it's kind of interesting because I think there's, as many of the things that we work with here, there's an immediate effect and there's an additional long-term effect. And so Marcy discovered that if she was having, and she's one of those people that was allergic to everything, and one of them was artificial sweeteners. And if she'd like order lemonade and they'd swear it was fresh squeezed and then it wasn't, she'd start going anaphylactic. And she found that she could swallow a whole bottle of Cell Defender and stop it right on the spot,
Wow.
just like she would have used an EpiPen or something. So that if you have one of those and you're in a crisis, you can use it that way. But over time, you should be less reactive to every little thing.
Thank you.
May I
You
make
bet.
an
Yeah, my one of my little dogs had an allergy, a lot of allergies too. We did the whole food changing thing, and again, I've only been using the Avini with her about 3 years now. But what I do with her is I just keep her on a maintenance dose, and she doesn't have any issues. The only issue she'll have is she'll get into the cat food every once in a while because obviously she likes that. She's very smart. She waits till, I walk out of the room and I got to keep an eye on her. But if she eats the cat food, she may get a response to that. Pat Tracy, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I have a problem that's going on right now, and that's why I wanted to mention it, especially since Dr. Nikita said something. Because mine is exactly doing that. She's scratching and she's licking her paws, and she's been, she's lost some of her hair and she's trying to get it back now. And I'm like, I've had her on Cell Defender. I've had her on, she loves our Nano Silver. As soon as I use it for myself, she's in my lap to get a good good slip of it in the end of my finger. And so I've done that regularly, but she improved a little bit
So,
and then stopped.
so Pat, I got to ask: is Wayne Redenauer on the call tonight? Alan, do you know if Wayne's
Sure.
with us?
I'm here,
Is he?
Chip.
Yeah.
Wayne, front and center.
Okay,
Well,
brother. Yeah.
He's
I
the person you need to hear from.
told Rosemary, which besides Marcy, I think Rosemary's probably the foremost,
For
on
that
that.
particular question, Wayne may be the ideal guy.
Yeah, Wayne,
Oh,
come on board.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
We got
Okay,
you. We
guys.
got you, Wayne.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I've already had numerous experiences with this very thing. And my daughter's dog was exactly the same way. I ordered the paste and got him on it. And within 3 days, he was completely healed and
Which
completely.
paste? Which paste?
Uh,
There's two, the Cell Defender and
yeah,
the Plus Relief.
I'm sorry, Cell Defender paste. But he responded to it very well. And then I've got a friend on the call that also had a large Labradoodle, and she's had an experience with him that she may come on and mention. And then a friend of mine has got a little small dog, and he was over at my house Sunday evening and mentioned that he was scratching all the time, just licking his paws and scratching. I went in and got my tube of paste and gave it to him. I said, try it out. I'm going to call you in a couple of days and ask you how it's going. So I did that. He said he's just barely scratching a little bit now. But the most incredible one that I have is my secretary yesterday. Now, this was yesterday as she was leaving work. She mentioned that she's got a little small dog. I don't know what kind of dog it is, but she loves that dog to death. And she said he just licks and licks and licks and scratches all night long, all the time. So I said, here's what I want you to do. All I had was about a quarter of a bottle of the drops, and I sent it home with her. I said, I want you to go home and put it in his water bowl as soon as you walk in the door. And when you feed him, put about 5 drops on his food. So she did that. And I called her leaving work last night. I had to work late. And I called her about 8:30. And I said, how's Bo doing? She said, well, you're not going to believe this. He's sitting here on my lap. I said, is he scratching and licking? She said, well, no, he scratched a couple times, but I'll know something by in the morning. So this morning I got to work and she was already at work, and I went walking in the office and she had this strange, crazy look on her face. I said, what is it? She said, you are not going to believe this. I said, what is it? She said, he did not lick or scratch one single time all night long. And this is a dog that has been doing that for years. And that's one thing I wanted to mention, guys, is I think what we have are, I don't think people realize there are most likely animals suffering from this everywhere, because just in my little small world, I have found 5 animals that's suffering from the same problem. The Cell Defender has, eradicated the problem.
I've not had that luck. That's why I happened to mention it in case Dr. Nikita has a little bit of, extended problem like I have. I finally called Rosemary and she said, change your food over to beef. And I said, but what I missed with the beef, because I know we're not supposed to use rice. She said, egg. So now I'm cooking beef, egg, and green beans for her. But the big trick is we're putting in Immunity. And even in the last 4 days, I've noticed a big difference. And I mean, I've had her on the Cell Defender paste for weeks, and as well as the Nano Silver. And it just wasn't, it was getting partway there, but there was still something that was not right. But now that we put her on this Immunity as well, she's really doing much better.
Have either one of you experimented with Plus Relief, the pet version of Plus Relief for the animals?
Sure.
And did that help with that situation, or it failed in that situation?
I think it might have helped a little bit. Not that I was noticing that much, but I think because of the anti-inflammatory response, it was helping somewhat.
Chip, on the Plus Relief for pets, I've got an older cat down at my machine company that's having some hip problems. But the first day I put it on her dry food, she will not eat wet food at all. She's a dry food eating cat. And I put it on her food, and she the first day she ate it, but then the second day she sort of ate around it. So I've got to figure out a way to get it in her. I might just get a little kind of a hypodermic needle looking thing without the needle in it, and just stick it in her throat and squeeze and see if that works.
Yeah. Or maybe just spray the human version on, and maybe that wouldn't be as big a difference, and she would accept that.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
only
I
thing
can.
with
Spray that on the
spraying,
food.
the only thing with spraying cats, it sounds like a hissing sound. So a lot of
Yeah,
cats I've tried to do in the barn, and they now, if they see me coming with the bottle, so I just
yeah.
put it on my hands and get it on them. Yeah. Anyway, the little tiny little syringe might not be a bad idea too.
Or in the food, you could spray it on their food, if they're
Yeah,
going to eat it all. So any of those methods would work great.
Gary, wave your hand
Yes.
up.
Yes. So I have a question for Dr. Nikita. I'm wondering, Dr. Nikita, was the basis of your question because your relative's dog is allergic to chicken? Were you reluctant to use the Avini product because of the chicken flavoring?
Yeah, I know. I asked a lot of questions, and they said it was anti-hypoallergenic, so it has a chicken flavor, but not really chicken products. So I was told that, but I just, like I said, I didn't know how. Like I want to give it to him, but I didn't know if how long he has to take it. Should I get 2 months supply? Like I didn't know what to do. And is
Well,
it,
we'll
I don't know.
we'll bounce that to Chip.
Trust your inspiration, Dr. Nikita. Trust your intuition and your inspiration. Just get it on them, and you want to do it, frequently enough. When you listen to Michelle, how creative she was in finding a way to have it regularly given to the horses. I mean, how many horses have Alexa timing their apple slices? And of course, they're going to love that. So the caregivers are going to love it too, because the horse comes running to greet you. I was like Christine. The more I listen to Christine, the more I think we must be attached someplace in the back, because I wanted to be a vet when I was a kid too. Then I noticed that when, the vet came, all the animals went to the other side of the enclosure. They didn't come to the vet. And I thought, oh, it's not going to be like, okay, they love me because I love them. That's not going to work right.
Right. Hey, one
But
thing
with
I
a
do want to
beanie, they
mention.
will come to you. With a beanie and an apple slice, they will come to you. So you see why a beanie's better. They will come to you, and the people will too.
What I also want to recommend is that you can put the cell defender, like Dr. Nikita, without the chicken, because if you don't want to try the paste, I put it right in their water. So I have two little dogs. Like my horses, no, I can't, like Michelle was saying, you can't really monitor how much they're drinking because there's so many horses maybe drinking out of the trough. But I have a water, each dog has a bowl. So I put the drops right in the water. I also, my cat drinks out of a planter, a big black planter. It's actually, she thinks it's her bowl, but I put it right in the water, drops right in the water. So I know the cat and my dogs are getting the cell defender. So try that. Okay.
My Regal Royal Princess Rosie, a 14-year-old tabby, she will not eat the pet food, the pet gel or
Right.
tablets or anything. So when I take the cell defender in the morning, I put it right on her wet food. I take the silver, the nano silver, I spray it all around. And then at one point, I was even giving her the mushrooms. I was taking the mushrooms out of the tablet and I was just mixing it in with her food. And she's even being more, emphatic that at 5 o'clock I feed her.
So with that said, Hannah, I want to share a little story. Sophia, every once in a while, she'll come and she'll join me here on the Avini Zoom. But what happened was she was out for she'll go in and out. With the cold weather, she'd prefer to be in, but she's, how cats are, they do what they want. But she woke me up last night because Craig went plowing. We had the snowstorm, so he left at 3:45 in the morning, and she kept meowing, but she kept scratching, 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 scratching the dermatitis. And they itch their ears, and this was going on for a good hour and a half. So I got up in the middle, I got up, it was probably 4:30, and I sprayed the nano silver, but she saw me with the bottle. So what I did was I just took the gel. I put the gel on my hands and I picked her up and I rubbed it inside of her ears and I put the gel on her, literally on her. Within 20 minutes, she was happy and sound asleep and never itched again all day long from the nanosilver. Getting that yeast out of their ears really makes a big difference with your dogs and your cats. So you could take the gel and just, palpate it right into their ears. Anybody else have a story they want to share?
Katrina is in the chat raising her hand. I'm not sure if
All right,
she has a
Katrina.
question. Katrina?
Can you see it, Carol?
I'm looking. I'm trying to find.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Katrina. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I had a question. One of the other ladies, I can't remember your name, was just kind of touched on it a minute ago about my problem with my dog is the appetite. She just everything had been fine until I guess this started around maybe December or some, I don't know. She just absolutely just quit eating. The routine with her and my other dog, like in the morning, they would have just some dry food with a cut up treat in it, just a little bit. That was their breakfast, and then supper, was, um, um, the big meal. And I would put dry food in with some good canned food, and maybe some goodies in there. And she never was a big eater, but she was eating fine and normal. And then it's just like she was turned off to food, just absolutely did not want to eat. And so she's lost weight. Um, she's very thin. I took her to the vet. On first examination, they couldn't find anything wrong with her. We haven't done any blood work yet. But, you know, nothing was wrong other than she's 13 years old. So I know her age is a factor. She's losing muscle mass. She's losing this weight. So when I started with Avini at the end of December, and somewhere after that, well, after I got my starter pack in, I did start giving her some of the droplets of the cell defender for people when I could get them in her. And thing is, I mean, I know it doesn't have any smell or taste or anything, but she wouldn't have it. So when the paste come out, I've had her on that for, oh gosh, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks now. I can tell that she is starting to eat a little bit better. It's still not where it needs to be, nowhere near where it needs to be, but I mean, I'm excited to see her have the desire to eat anything, even though now she's still not eating any kind of dog food. And
Did they
yes,
check her teeth? Did they check her teeth and look at her mouth? Anything going
um,
on inside her mouth?
no, well, I don't think they did thoroughly.
You should look at her mouth, look at her gums. See, she may have something going on in her mouth sometimes. That could be the case.
Yeah, I think I am going to take her back and have them do a little further, more in-depth examination, and we may do some blood work. But my question was, if the paste isn't doing quite the trick, what would be the next thing to try? Would it be the nano silver or the immunity? What should I try next to kind of and be able to tell, which one is making the difference if it does.
One of the things about animals, that's the first thing, when they're sick, when they don't eat, something's going on. That's the way they speak to us,
All right.
they're off their food, they're telling you something. I would say for sure, look in her mouth, see if there's not something going on in her mouth.
Okay.
I've taken the nano silver and rubbed it on my dog's gums because my dog has gum disease. So,
Okay.
teeth, and they wanted to do put her under. She's 11 years old too, and put her under and do the cleaning of the teeth. So I've been using the I've just been using that on her gums.
Okay.
It's really, really, it's funny. I just said that, and here she came and she walked over and I say, "Hi, this is Boo. Show me your teeth." So this is Boo. Boo has like her now, like her. She usually has a better hairdo, but She's needs to go in, but it's just too cold up here. So just open up her little mouth and put the little, put it right on her mouth, and let's see if maybe it's something. Sometimes they have an ulcerated tongue.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
I was trying to watch and see if she was, seemed to like she was having any trouble of chewing or eat, that kind of thing. But I can't tell that she doesn't seem to. But I will try that, and um, so I'm just trying to figure out, what to do next. So with the nano silver, use it in that way, and even that would still even get it into her system, other than just the gums, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, did they test for parasites? Did they do the?
Well, I had her dewormed. I had her dewormed about a month ago, and then the first time, and probably about maybe a couple months before that, when I had her dewormed, the first time it seemed to help her appetite. So I thought, well, that's what it is. That's part of what it is. And then this last time, though, it didn't seem to have any effect, the dewormer. So I'm just kind of
Well,
trying to figure out what the next step is to go along with paste.
yeah,
So
Chip.
silver is really good. Christine's, right on. And for humans and animals, oral health is a part of your entire health, and
Mm-hmm.
periodontal stuff along the gum line really responds to Avini NanoSafe Spherical Silver. You can use the gel or the spray on.
Okay.
Brush your teeth and spit out the toothpaste, but when you brush your teeth again with the silver, swallow that because you don't want to waste it. You want to get
Right.
the
Right.
extra benefits down inside.
Okay. Because see, I haven't tried any of that yet. Like I said, I'm still pretty new, so I'm still trying different products
You'll
and all
be
that.
you'll be full of stories pretty soon.
I
This
hope so.
this
Okay. Thank.
this is her sponsor, Doc. I'll have the
Yes.
silver to you Saturday.
Yes.
Hey,
Woo!
Doc.
Okay.
Hi,
Great.
Doc.
Yeah.
So, it's blood work is not a bad idea, but I would recommend like go get the blood work, but then like don't jump in to do everything so quickly. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because they might have you on 92 other things and doing a biopsy and this and that.
Well, exactly, and that's one reason. I mean, I've had animals my entire life since I was 4 years old. I've rescued and done all this stuff my entire life, and these are my last two.
Yep.
I'm down to my last two, and I don't intend to do any more. I'm just getting too old. But
Well, once
um,
again with Avini and humans and pets, just use it,
yeah.
and you may never know what the problem was. They just got better.
Well,
That's
that's
right.
that. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I don't. I would be interested if they did blood work just to see what they found. But like you said, I'm not going to jump into anything. And also, I just, I had a fear. I had a fear of what they might tell me because she is 13 years old. And so there's that. So I'd prefer to try everything I can with these products before I do. I mean, as opposed to anything else. I really would because I know what they can do.
Yeah, you got nothing, put the cell defender in her water, all the things that you know that she's got to be getting hydrated somehow, right? Can
Yep.
you monitor her water? So put the
Yes.
cell defender in there, put this spray. Like I just go like this and I spray it, right on Boo. Boo had big tumor on her head right here. You can't really, now she's so hairy, but she had this huge golf ball on her head. No,
Mhm.
no more, you know?
Mm.
Now,
But she had a
uh,
golf ball. That's what she had. And she doesn't even play golf, but anyway, just get it on her any way you can. That's what my
um, a,
recommendation. And
a question on the cell defender drops in the water. Because I have noticed it seems like she's been drinking more water too, but so is my other dog. So I guess part of that may be the time of year. But anyway, does it? I mean, does it like sink to the bottom, or is it just kind of stay in the water, or
Yeah. So there is really no such thing as liquid zeolite. It is a suspension of zeolite in water.
okay, okay,
And but this is so fine that it should, the first time she licks it once, it should pop back up into solution. But you would probably see in your bottles or in her bottle a very fine tan settling. And
okay?
so and it's another reason when you get done with a bottle of Cell Defender, shake the heck out of it whenever you use it. But
Yes, I
I
do.
usually fill it up one more time and shake the heck out of it and drink the contents because I don't want to waste any.
Yeah. So
but
I put some droplets in their water bowl and just leave it at that.
Yeah, especially if they drink it all,
Mm-hmm.
you may want to manage their water so that they drink it all when that's in there. So
Should I
have
stir it up a little bit from time to time?
well, just maybe don't make it as deep so that they
Right.
drink it clear to the bottom,
Right.
and
Okay.
then at
Okay.
least.
Yeah. Okay. I'm definitely gonna try that. Okay. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
And
thank you for
Katrina,
being interested.
and
That's a great
Katrina,
question,
it
guys.
They're
sounds
my
like you,
babies.
Katrina, I was going to suggest, sounds like you've got a great sponsor right in your neighborhood. So
I do. Heck,
rely on the doc that's your neighbor
the
before you
doctor.
run to the other one.
The doctor.
Right.
That's
Yep.
good.
Okay,
Avini.
we're almost out of time. So does anybody else have a comment or a question before Dr. Marion?
Miriam.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I was going to tell you my currently 4-year-old Cocker Spaniel, whom I've had since 7 weeks. Anyway, last year at her April physical, she was fine. After that, she started having these skin lesions throughout that got really bad. And I joined Avini in April. So I started putting her on maintenance, Cell Defender, use the gel, the nano silver gel on her. And she wasn't worse, but she wasn't better. And then I ended up with hip surgery. So then she got worse. So I took her to the vet by September. And because she was scratching her ears now the ears were infected. When she first came to me, she had 4 ear infections in 8 months' time, the runt of the litter. And I immediately stopped all kibbles and put her on Fresh Pet and put her on probiotics, and no ear infections for another 2.5 years till last year around July, September. And I go, oh my gosh, what's going on? So I had to go to the vet because now she's scratching the skin, she's scratching her ears, and I was out of control and I wasn't able to do much physically yet. And so the very astute vet looked at her hair and said, I'm going to guess that she's hypothyroid because she was thinner in the hair on her back. And so he drew all the comprehensive, expensive blood, and she came back severely hypothyroid. And then he told me from his experience, dogs with low thyroid generally will have higher incidence of ear infections, skin infections. And he says, once we get this under control, we'll see a significant improvement in both areas. But the treatment required twice-a-week baths with a special antifungal, antibacterial soap. And you know what? Leaving shampoo on a dog for 10 minutes, it's like not in the tub, so you got to do it in the shower. So it took about three months, and it took forever, it seemed, for the skin to get better. But now we're about 3 months from doing the bath and had the initial ear drops with the antibiotic and the steroid drop to reduce the inflammation and to give her comfort. And I've been maintaining it with definitely higher amounts of Cell Defender because I figure if I was doing maintenance from April to September and she still got diagnosed and she was still not better, she must be more toxic than I realized. So she's been on at least 4 to 5 times of Cell Defender. And the way I give it to her is she gets the Fresh Pet food, and I cook the chicken, put the chicken on, sprinkled the drops, 3 drops on it several times a day. And when I give her a treat, the little turkey strips or whatever, I put the drops of the Cell Defender on that. And then I pour or spray the nano silver spray onto the food at least twice a day. And then after the bath, the next day, if the skin still looks dry or crusty, because it's very dry skin too, I would use the nano silver gel. And that's like instant relief, even for humans. When you put that on, the itch stops and all that. So I think the skin is like 99.9% better. The ears smell better. And I used a tiny, tiny syringe and put nanosilver with the cell defender and drew that up, and then kind of like how they have you clean the ears. Well, I clean the ear with that little combo. And so we are now this high maintenance dog of mine. So, but you do for your pets.
All right. So with that said, Dr. Marion, thank you. People do so much for their animals,
And
right?
Ximmunity, one capsule. I increased that from one capsule to twice a day. Poured the powder onto the food and poured the nanosilver over so it dissolved it, unless I have some gravy from some of my own dinner or something. And she'll eat it. And the thyroid pill is the main thing. And so part of the issue is that you do have to have lab work to make sure you're not dealing with some metabolic problem that's predisposing these animals to their conditions. So I hope this is going to be behind me because she's awfully young. And plus, she had gingivitis diagnosed last year, April. And the vet said we need to put her under general anesthesia and deep clean. I said, I didn't have energy at that time before my hip surgery. So I said, well, hopefully the Avini products will take care of it. And because she had one course of antibiotic last year also, now when I look at the gums, it's, it's like significantly better. There's no redness in any area. And I just continue.
Yeah, that's amazing.
When I rub the gum line, she just licks it all off. So I don't even know how much goes in on the gum. So I figure she might as well be taking it internally then.
There you go. Dr. Marion, thank you. We're just about out of time. It's 8:27, so I just want to read you a few statistics and let you know that next week our topic is going to be addiction. So I want you to really think about who you can invite. Food addictions, caffeine addictions, any type of addiction. Bring your friends, your family, your caregivers to Avini Vibes next week. It's going to be an amazing show. But Carol, if you can just get that picture ready. We're going to close with that funny picture, but I just want to read a few statistics. Chip, thank you, and Dr. Nikita. But statistically, of pet populations and pet owning households from 1996 to 2024, the dog population has already increased from 52.9 million to a new peak of 89.7 million. That's after taking a slight dip in 2023, but you know what happened to 80 million. And in 2023, we went from up to 88.3 million dogs. The cat population is kind of steady, but there's still the peak population in 2006 was 81.7 million cats. And the horse population, anybody want to take a guess? Horse population? 6.65 million horses. That's 6.65 million horses in the United States. So we got to get busy. We got to go out because sometimes people will take care of their animals before they do themselves. So if you can't get your family, your friends, your loved ones to listen, talk to your animals because they don't talk back. Carol, go ahead.
All ready? Okay, hold on here.
We're going to close with this, and thank you everybody for being here. Have a great week. We'll see you over in at the conference, hopefully in Las Vegas. And this is it. This is Sophia, my cat Sophia. She was not friendly, not cuddly, and ever since she's been on Avini products, this is what she does every morning. It's the way I wake up. So you never know what's going to happen to your pet when you start giving them the cell defender, the immunity mushrooms, and all those good things that take care of them. You might wind up with a cat on your head like I did. Thank you. Chip, you want to close us out? Chip, where are you?
Oh, I'm here. Oh my goodness. Well, more and more things. Your dog's named Boo, the old cat that's 19 out at the lake I take care of every day with the products. Her name is Boo. And then the Pomeranians, Marcy loves, I call them the Pom geraniums. And my joke was that, the wife would get a pink suitcase and a tiny dog and then want me to carry it through the airports, But I turned her Pom geranium into a hunting dog. I would take it with me, and a farm dog. I take it out irrigating, and as the water moved forward, it knew that the gophers would come to the top, and so she moved ahead with the water, and she'd grab them, that little tiny Pomeranian, And she would just snap them like that, and just within a second or two, their guts would fly out and crack like a bullwhip, and she'd go for another one. I mean, that sweet little palm geranium was after those gophers, so that worked out great. But yeah, I've got just one couple more. I got them written on the page. I might as well do it. So, Michelle, I didn't know if an enucleated eye was saved or lost. Anybody know if an enucleated eye is saved or lost? I don't know about that. But she was talking about it's lost.
I think it's lost.
Okay. So the female horses, they all came back online, but there was a rancher and his stud lost interest in the mares. He got a hold of Avini, and the stud came up to full power, and they had lots of colts. And the neighboring rancher said, "What's in that Avini stuff?" And the rancher said, "I don't know, but it tastes a lot like oranges." And the last one I got is on the very first of the 17 meetings when Christine took Doug to the event and realized he was going to be taking the pet products and squirting them right in his own mouth. After that, for the other 16, he had him wear one of those big, thick collars with the spikes on it like they put on. And that's all I got.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's always such a blessing to be with all of you. God bless you. And have a good night. Go out there and change the world, okay?
Good night, everyone. Good
See
night.
you next week. Remember, bring your friends. Addiction is
Oh my
your
goodness.
topic. God
Good
bless.
Invite
night.
all of them, family members,
Night.
friends, even people you don't like. Get them all.
Bye, guys.
Really real.
We can
Good
change
night,
their
everybody.
mind for
Thanks
you.
for being here.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Good night. And happy Valentine's Day.
Yes,
Bye,
happy
everyone.
Valentine's Day. Good idea.
Bye.
I like that Sandra did that.
Yeah. I love that.